Hello. We did it. We did the thing.
Yay!
Yay.
Content is great. I love it.
I love it when that works. I love it. It sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. It's technology. I'm Heather Jean. I am joined by the amazing Maggie Perotin, or I learned how to say it last time. Maggie Perotin. Is that right?
Yeah, that's the French way to say
I'm
it.
not. I'm really terrible with accents, but I try because our names is so important to us.
Yeah, but you know what? Like, I think the first name, the second name is my husband's last name.
Oh yeah, fair. So welcome, Maggie. And I know we've spoken before. I know the community already know you. You were on the Confidence Through Cabaret, the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So if you haven't gotten to know Maggie or want to know more about her work, do check out the Confidence Through Cabaret podcast wherever you get your podcast. Maggie is talking all about becoming an effective and fulfilling your potential. And Maggie is a coach that I just really, really relate to and resonate with right away as soon as we met. And I love having chats with you. It is so much fun because I think the thing I admire most about you, Maggie, is that you take your work seriously. You get or help your clients achieve their results, but you don't take it all too seriously. You're very light and fun, and I love how you enjoy what you do.
Oh, thank you, Heather. Thank you for having me. And you know what? It's true, because I really believe that life should be enjoyable, and we should have fun and feel joy throughout life, and not take it too seriously because we have only one life and so on, and we can achieve and accomplish a lot, and even learn faster when we have fun, rather than when we're stressed about it.
So true. That is so true. Because, I always say you can have a good time or you can do hard time. Like,
Do hard time. Yeah, that's a good one.
And I think about that so often because one of my values, and I argue with people a lot about whether play is a value, but I say one of my values is play, because that playfulness, that joy, that lightness, that just makes everything so much better.
Yeah, I think so. Like, I love that value, play or fun. Yeah, why not? Because sometimes people tend to kind of equal fun or play with not serious or not professional and so on. And those are two different things. You can still be serious and committed to whatever you're doing or trying to achieve, be professional about it, but at the same time, not take everything so seriously, and then, save yourself a lot of stress and overwhelm, and still achieve the goals and, make an impact you want to make.
Well, I mean, why would we be doing so much or spending so much of our life not having fun, not enjoying it? We spend more than half our waking hours in and around work. And if you have your own business, it's probably more than half of your waking hours. If you have a long commute, then it's more than half of your waking hours, and I just can't see why it's not fun. And we have a lot of people talking about confidence in this community and wanting to raise the confidence and wanting to grow, and they'll say, yeah, but I'm an introvert, or I'm not an extrovert, or I'm not experienced, or and there's all these things, and it's like, have fun with it. What's the worst that can happen?
Exactly. Like, most of the time our mind goes in those like gloom and doom scenarios, even with simple and not, I would say, not even risky stuff, right? And none of it usually happens. And even if it does, like, as you say, like, what's the worst that can happen? Okay, you do a Facebook Live and you think that somebody will think something about you, but how do you really know? Right? How do you really know what they think? And even if they did, so what? Right? Yeah. Do you really care about people who you don't know? You don't really care about what they think. Like, why would you?
Well, and most of the time, people are looking for us to succeed. People are looking for our content. I did an Impostor Syndrome training because I did a free webinar I made a course, I did all of that, and I decided, you know what, I actually could, there's just so much more. That imposter syndrome is such a huge topic. What is and is not imposter syndrome, and what, we procrastinate that isn't necessarily because of imposter syndrome. So I decided, actually, I'm not done. I have so much more. So I did a live training, and the way that it works on StreamYard, it jumbled all my slides. So there was writing all on top of each other. It was a disaster. And I've been in training like most of my adult life, my 20s. And so I was mortified because I was thinking, I'm more professional than this. I know better than this. And I had all these high expectations. And people said to me afterwards, actually, I thought you did that on purpose to demonstrate the point of imposter syndrome. So what you feel is not what others see. They were just interested in the content. They weren't there for the slides, because I could have sent them those if that's all it was.
Yeah. And that's very true. Like, very often, again, like, we think about other people, but we don't look at ourselves. Like, I always say, okay, well, if somebody went live and maybe that was their first time and they were nervous, what would you think? Like, you would want to support them. You would want to say, oh my God, like, that's great. I'm here for you. You would listen to them and so on. And other people will do exact same thing for you. Yeah. And, like, I want to talk to about imposter syndrome, because I think we all have it. And I'm kind of realizing, I actually thought about it last week, not that long ago, that the more you go into your genius zone and the more you do stuff and you're familiar with your work and like you're doing research and so on, the more imposter syndrome you feel. Like I did last week, I did a workshop in a networking group that I belong to for like hour and a half about, always following through on your, things you want to do and without getting overwhelmed. And it was an hour and a half. And after that, I thought like, oh, I bombed. Like, it's such an obvious thing. Like, what am I thinking, right? Who am I? What am I thinking? But then I was getting all that feedback, how great it was and how people resonated, what they learned. And my brain still said, well, they're saying just that because, they want to be nice. Like, and that's so natural. And like, in a way, you just need to get past that and keep doing the things you're doing and say, no, like, people don't say nice things. They don't have to say anything, right? If it was that bad, they wouldn't say anything. If somebody, like, if I watched something that was that bad, I wouldn't just say anything, right? I wouldn't tell somebody it was great, but I wouldn't say anything. So if somebody takes time to send you an email or reach out to you saying, hey, it was so great, I really took value out of it, then it must have been okay.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And people wanted to know your content. It doesn't matter if you stuttered or lost your place or had technology problems or whatever it is. What they recognize is that authentic passion that's coming from you, that you really genuinely care about what you're talking about and you care about sharing that.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, and you take time to prepare, right? It's not like going out there and wing it. Like, you prepared those slides, the technology jumbled them, but you still took time to prepare because you care and you're passionate about what you do.
Yeah. There was a Mark Twain quote I used to use a lot when we were allowed to do live training in the corporate world, and I used to train in presentation skills and training skills, and there was a quote I always used, which was by Mark Twain, and it usually takes me 3 weeks to prepare an impromptu speech. It's that. So when I did my cabaret last week, I freestyled for the first time, but I still knew, like, I still had everything prepared. I knew my music. I knew the character. I knew how what the mood and the portrayal was. I just didn't know exactly how I was going to move because I didn't choreograph it. I decided not to do, which is terrifying and fabulous. But it's because it's very free that way, So we would say, don't write a script, right? Because then you're just reading.
Yeah.
But news anchors always go through incredible amounts of training so it doesn't look like they're reading from the teleprompter, but it's not about having a script. It's about kind of having your structure of what you're going to say.
Yeah. And that's how I do my workshops, whether they're free or whether I'm doing training for my clients. It's I don't write a script that I then memorize, because I think that puts you in a box. And when you're too focused about saying the right word and so on, you're not paying attention to your audience. You're not open to adjusting based on the feedback and the questions, right? So when I prepare, yes, I write up what I want to talk about. I have some pointers that I keep close by because I don't want to miss maybe some important information. I have a slide or kind of like flip chart, but the rest, the words that I put in and so on, it's all in the moment. But you draw from your expertise, you draw from your passion, you draw from the preparation, because I do feel like if you try to memorize, I don't know, hour and a half of a workshop, that's when it's going to be a disaster, because that's when you get stuck and you're like, oh, what was that next word I was supposed to say?
Yeah. But it's okay to pause.
Yeah.
It's okay to do that. I'm just having a look at the comments here, I actually don't have my glasses on. Jana was talking about, was talking about, doing Twitch yesterday, and the stream tried to get me to play a new game. I couldn't figure out how to run it. I turned off my stream because I almost started to cry. So I think sometimes when we can't figure it out, we let technology stop us. I did a podcast, actually it's going up tomorrow, with somebody who is a technical person, and it's the first technical person that I've met that says don't start with all of the technology, like don't know exactly what you're going to do. And it's the same thing with that script and those words, we overcomplicate things so much. And I think that if we don't start thinking, oh, I have to have, like when I started with StreamYard, I had no branding or anything because I didn't know how to do it. You just kind of build this. And he's like, don't have anything, because you might not like StreamYard and you might not want to do it and you wasted your time. And it's the same thing with your script. You're right. You can't adapt it. So you can't connect with your people. I mean, surely the point of going live or going on stage or going on, doing a presentation or doing an hour and a half training, surely the point is to connect with people.
Yeah. Well, the point is to offer them the value and make sure, like, help them learn something or take out, even if it's a golden nugget that they then can implement and get better, whether it's personally or through their business, in my case, right? That's the whole point. So if you don't have space in your brain to see what they're responding to and what else you could offer that might not be in what you prepared based on their feedback and so on, because your brain is so focused on following the script, then you're missing the point, right? You don't create that connection energy. It can be very impersonal when you are just there and, talking without connecting. And I think people can feel it. I think we can feel it, right? You can have two people saying the same exact thing or delivering the same exact message, and one saying everything perfectly by being that impersonal, lacking connection, and then one maybe stumbling or taking pauses or maybe clicking through something, but then connecting and having that energy when we're like listening and being there present. 100% you would feel it, right? And 100% you would connect with the person who is there, who is listening, who is present, who wants to feel your feedback.
Yeah, for sure. And Anna's commenting about, of relevance and value. You can prepare the value that you're gonna have. You can think about your audience and prepare that relevance, but then you can adapt it in that, to make it relevant to who you're talking to. And it's never the same. I've done lots of rollouts for companies where I run a program for them, and I do it, kind of in many sites, and people say, how can you do the same thing over and over? I'm not, because I've got different people in the room. Where I find it a little bit more tricky, and I do struggle with this as an extrovert, because I draw energy from other people by definition of extroversion, and I find when I'm doing a video where it's just me and it's not live, like a training course that I'm recording, and or a masterclass for the website, I just think there's nobody to connect to.
I agree. It's more challenging for me too. When I was recording my training for my program, like, you know, I have a portion of my group coaching that's on video. It was much harder for me to do than doing a live, or where I have people, when you can feel the presence, right? Even if people are in the comments, even if people are necessarily not in the room with you, you still feel present. So I try to like imagine always I'm talking to a client of mine or somebody, just to feel that presence and feed off of it. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I do. And you can do this on Zoom as well. I don't use Zoom very often anymore. But in StreamYard, you can have people in the green room. So people that can't be seen. And I very often will do training with people in the green room who don't want to be on the screen, but I'd like them to leave their video open. Whereas on Zoom, you shut off your video, right? And then you don't know who you're talking to.
Yeah.
So I think, you know, with StreamYard, I used to put Ryan Francis, when I first started recording those videos, I used to put Ryan into the green room so that I had somebody to talk to and somebody to react. And it really did help. And you can do that with Zoom as well. You can do that with somebody sitting behind your laptop or your camera. You know, there are ways around it, but it's, you know, it really is just thinking about how you're going to connect with people. And that's all they want. They don't want perfection. In fact, there's a lot of research that shows that if it is too slick and if it is too perfect, then we don't feel like it's genuine, feel like it's attainable for us, or, you know, we don't relate in a human way.
Yeah.
You know, so, and that's why the news anchors, even when they got teleprompters, they would hold paper. Do you know, they would hold it, nothing written on that. It's just so that they would be referring down, so that they came across as, you know, I'm checking facts. I'm not just making this up, because people didn't trust it for a long time.
Well,
you know, so it is just so much about connection. And I know that you are all about connection, because a lot of your clients, you know, in order for you to help them reach their potential, a lot of them must want to show up, right? They must want to be live.
Yeah. You know what? My clients are really are service-based entrepreneurs, and they do a lot of marketing online, right? But even if you do marketing in person, well, you got to show up to the networking events, right? Nobody will know about your business if you're not out there visible. And whether you're visible online or whether you're visible, you know, in person, and especially as a service-based provider, you want to establish your expertise. You want to show people like, hey, I'm there, I can help you. I know all those things that can really help you in whatever area, you know, you need help. So it does require confidence, or building up that confidence to go out there and tell, and not in a sense that, oh, I'm boasting and I'm being, you know, I don't know the word. I'm always missing that word in English. I'm being like, oh, it's all about me. No, it's in service to other people, because, hey, if they don't know you exist and you might be the only person who can help them, then they go in their lives unhelped, unhappy, in pain, and whatever the case might be, you're helping them with, right?
Yes. Yeah. And you never know, like what you're doing by helping other people to help other people, that this is whole chain reaction, which is so beautiful. Really the whole point.
Exactly.
And we were talking before this. Hold on 2 seconds. I'm about to lose my microphone. It's about to fall over. It's like, Also, thank you, Jenna, for sharing to your Facebook. And yes, the pink in my hair was from Cabaret last week. But I think, you know, when we talk about showing up, and we were talking before we went live, you know, I'm at a point now where I'm like, it's time to stop talking about it and do it, right? It's time to stop wishing and actually achieve. And I'm just so happy. And I was thinking about you yesterday, because I went live, and then I went, you know what? We're doing a confidence challenge. And I was thinking, because I knew we were going live today. And I was like, you know what? Because I know that's what you're about, is about like, what do you want to achieve? Let's do that. And I absolutely love your work. Now tell us about what you're about to start doing.
What about to start doing?
You gotta do it, not to.
Like, I agree that you just need to start doing, because her brain is so scared to start because it's never done something. But when you start, that's actually, it realizes that, oh, I'm not gonna die, nothing happened. And that's how you build your confidence. And like, I remember even my first live when I did, I was so scared. I think we talked about it on the podcast. Like, I was so scared to do my FaceTime. My hands were shaking, but you did it, and I didn't die. My brain learned I didn't die, and then it was easier. After another, it was just easier, right? So totally. So yeah, what am I working on? The latest and greatest, what I'm working on is a free workshop that I'm going to run on September 9th, which is a Thursday. So 2 weeks from now, 2 weeks and 2 days. And it's about 6 steps to signing.
About sex, Maggie. I'm all for that. Sorry. It can be about sex. That's cool.
Yeah, we can. Why not?
But not this time. Not this time.
Not this time. Yeah. No, we'll be talking about how to sign high quality clients consistently, and it's going to be 1.5-hour workshop. It's really good. Outside of my 6-step process to do that, I'll be sharing other things like tip and advice on how to implement it, how to improve if you already have maybe a client attraction process, and also reasons why maybe your clients, or not all your clients, are those dream clients you have, right? Because it's always like, improvement starts with awareness. So first we need to know what might not be working, and we might not realize that, right? Because when we're close to our problems, we not see them. So we need sometimes other people's perspective, and then we can work on improving or implementing whatever changes. Yeah.
So true that it starts with awareness. Yeah. So true. Anything, if you were talking about goal setting, and certainly in my coaching practice, it's like, okay, cool, we've got your goals. Where are you now? Like, let's really get into that. Not just like where you are now. Oh, I'm afraid to go live, or I'm, afraid to put the product out there. But like really diving into like what's going on with that awareness of where you are now. And it's the same with we were talking about imposter syndrome. It's the same kind of thing with that, right? Because if you recognize that pattern and you're saying to yourself, oh, I just did 1.5 hours and I'm beating myself up over this, then getting to that, where's that coming from? And really diving into that. And that's so powerful. Just even that awareness. And then you can start to move on to you're consistently signing high quality clients, or whatever it is that you're trying to achieve. Yeah. Okay, so is this the first time that you've offered this program?
This particular one, yes, it's new. I like to coming up with like new things, and I love to learn. I'm a big learner. So whenever I come up or even think about certain concepts that I'm teaching in a different way, right? Because then different people respond or learn different ways, right? So when you can explain the same concept from different perspective, different ways, then you can reach people who maybe you weren't able to reach, or you can help people that you weren't able to help just because they weren't, connecting with your previous ways. But yes, it's the first time I offer that.
Okay, so what will you be doing to prepare because there's going to be some nerves, right? You know what you're doing. You made it, you designed it, you know it inside and out. But what will you be doing to prepare for running this program for the first time?
So what am I going to do? So definitely, I've already outlined the program, so the points that I want to do, but then I'll go over, it's been a while, so I'm going to go over again to see what I want to talk about. I'm going to prepare my notes, again, not a script, but notes that I want to talk about. Then I don't use PowerPoint, because from my corporate world, I've been like PowerPointed out. Too much PowerPoint. So I usually use flip charts, like paper and flip charts. So I will prepare that, so it helps visual for my audience, but it also helps me while I'm, kind of internalizing the content. And then, work on my mindset. If I have any fears about it, just like you say, okay, where is this coming from? Why is this not true, right? Why is just my negative committee that we all have trying to prevent me from doing it, right? So I do journaling or mindset work if, when need comes. And then that's it. And then practice, like the technology, I have it figured out. I've done a bunch of trainings. I do Zoom, so a little check before, but technology portion should be good.
Yeah. And a lot of it is just that kind of mindset of, really thinking about how you're doing. Also, there's a lot of importance for thinking about afterwards. So, how you internalize that. And I know that, you've done many programs and you're very experienced. But I think for a lot of people, they'll relate to what you said earlier, but I just did an hour and a half training and I don't think it did anything. And so, I think how you store that will affect how you move forward the next time. So are the things that you want to change and improve and develop, and that's great. But if you tell yourself that was a total disaster and you really kind of live that, your body doesn't understand any different. The next time you think about doing that, it might make you go, no, not doing that. So, I have not watched my Cabaret back, my videos back, for example, from last Thursday, and I probably won't, although I'm happy to share it. Everybody else is seeing it, and I will share it with the community, I promise. I'm having some trouble with YouTube and the music rights, so I'm working on kind of Vimeo links and stuff. I will share it, but I'm happy for other people to see it. I'm not ashamed of the video. I am still internalizing and connecting my mind and body with how it went perfectly. I know that if I watch that back, I'll be saying I wasn't, my leg wasn't straight there, and I wasn't quite right there, and I couldn't undo the corset there, and and I will critique the whole thing, and that's what I'll internalize, and then the next time, those will be my fears. So I'm storing all of it in my body about how it went perfectly. It didn't, but I'm storing.
Yeah, but how it was great, the way it was, right? Yeah.
And then I can watch it, and I can watch it more objectively, and I can watch it less emotionally, where I'm saying, oh, I didn't do this and I didn't do that, because that's all going to subside. And at that point, then I'll watch it. And in the past, when I performed, it's taken me months and months to watch the video. I'll watch it a lot sooner than that now. But I think, it's how you store that stuff afterward will either feed your imposter voice, or it will overcome that and go, I did some damn good stuff there, and store that.
That's a great tip. Thank you, Heather. Because I think you're right. I don't do that in that much, intentionally, right? It happens. I get feedback. It happens. But that's a great tip that I'm going to take on and be more intentional about the afterwards, and say, hey, how was it, even though there's things I could improve, and there's always, right, we're not perfect, we can always improve. How was it the best it could have been at that moment? Internalize it, and then, maybe watch it and learn from it, or things improve. That's great.
But the post work, to me, is equally important versus to the preparation in advance. It's all part of it. It's all part of it. I'm so excited for your program. And I'm so excited. Please do share with us afterwards how it goes.
I will.
What you did, what happened, what you're saying, how your imposter voice is. And of course, we always want to hear about the results and how you're doing and so on. But please do kind of share, what it was like, what happened for you.
I will. It's coming up soon.
Steps to consistently signing high quality clients, if that is something that is you desire or you're working towards, and I'm gonna stick my neck out here and say that Maggie would love it if you would attend, even if you're thinking, I'm not ready for that. I'm not, if you're imposter, no, I can't sign high quality, then do it anyway.
Yeah, do it anyway. Just come.
Do it anyway.
Come have fun with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so where can people find out about the program?
So the best is on my website, stairwaytoleadership.com. I have a tab, free events. So if you go to stairwaytoleadership.com, free events, you'll find it there. It's right on top. It's also actually, I forgot to tell you, I posted it on Eventbrite as well. So I guess if you Google an Eventbrite, the title, it's going to be there. But yeah, on my website, stairwaytoleadership.com, free events, it's right there.
And this is going to be live?
It's going to be live, yes. And those people who do sign, I'll share the recording. So in case you're in a time zone, because it's going to be at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard, so I guess in UK it is what?
That's only 9 p.m.
9?
That's not
yeah,
bad.
It's not that bad. It's 9. But in case, then those who register, I will share the recording as well. So
amazing, amazing. And so show up live, because you always get more out of live, don't you? If you possibly can. I mean, 9 p.m. I'm very often on workshops at 9 p.m. because you people in the East are doing such amazing work. I have to keep showing up at that. But do show up. And this is, tell me again the date. I know you've said two
Thursday, September 9th.
9 September.
Yeah.
So if you have children, your children will be back at school. So no excuse. 9th of September. But you can find out all of the details. You can sign up on stairwaytoleadership.com. You can also find out more about Maggie and her amazing work. Maggie's also very active in the Confidence to Cabaret community on Facebook, so you can always message there. If all else fails, then you can always find Maggie and send them a DM as well. And it is 6 steps to consistently signing high quality clients. I'm so excited for your new work.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for putting out new work over and over again. I just, that's you're living the things that we talk about here, that you show up and you do it. And you're doing it.
Thank you. I love it. I do. And then that's the thing, when you really are passionate about something, then it's definitely much easier to overcome all those fears and imposter syndrome, because your passion is stronger and you get yourself to do it. And then the more you do it, the more confidence you build, and so on and so forth.
Absolutely. Confidence is very much about momentum and experience. It's not one of those things you get that first and then you do the do.
Yeah, no.
It's not how that works.
No.
And I set a new challenge yesterday, just kind of while I was live. I went, you know what? Enough. We're doing it. It's a confidence challenge starting Monday. We will do a group session in a live setting. I won't make anybody do anything they don't want to do, but I do want to push the boundaries a little bit more in terms of comfort zones, because it's one thing to talk about it. It's one thing to kind of, take time to get your head around it. And then it's time to do the thing. And I can tell you now, last week, this time last week, I was still making my costume because I procrastinated because my imposter syndrome was going, yeah, but you're not in the right shape and you're not the right strength and you're not the right fitness and and all of these things. If I waited till I had my pre-COVID body back again, that's going to be probably a couple of years realistically. And I just decided, no, it's time to show up. It's time to do the thing. And I think, what I learned, and this works because I tried it live in front of people on stage, is that if you think about your fear as excitement, it's the same sensation and it is so much more enjoyable.
That's cool. I love that.
Every time I felt the nerves, I was like, ooh, feel that excitement in my body. And I'll tell you what, I wasn't the slightest bit doubtful, even though I hadn't got any choreography for the first time ever. I wasn't the slightest bit afraid of being on stage. I was excited for my turn.
That's awesome. I love that.
It makes such a difference how we position these things. So if you're thinking about, could I sign clients, but I want to, and I don't know how to, and whatever, then join Maggie on the 9th of September.
Yes.
Thank you as always for showing up.
Thank you, Heather. Thank you for having me. It's always such a pleasure and so much fun talking to you.
Do you remember what your cabaret name was?
No, I forgot. Did I come up with one?
You did. I can't remember what it was. But if you were making a cabaret name now, your persona for your stage of Stairway to Leadership, what is your persona? What's your stage name?
What's my stage name? Well, that was, I think I remember that question was always like last time I was like,
No, like, you know who that inner fear, because we're talking about imposter syndrome. You know who that inner fierce person is in you.
I know. I don't know what to call her.
you don't, but it'll come to you and you'll go, oh, that's who it is. Yeah.
I will let you know. Like I need to think about it.
Okay.
So next time we meet, I have an answer for you.
Don't overthink. You have to take action and go, yes, this is my person. This is that voice. This is what propels me forward, and this is what tells me that training I did was awesome and people got something out of it. And I have to believe that because people are telling me that. I love this. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me. Thank you, everybody, for watching. I appreciate you coming.
Yeah. Comments, if you're watching replay, love to hear your comments, your reflections, your strategies, your ideas, what you're doing to take action. I am Heather. This is the wonderful, oh no, this way, because StreamYard is backwards. Yeah. This is the amazing Maggie. And I'm reminding you that it is your body, it is your world, and it is your stage. Take up space, own it, raise your voice, and share your message.
Thank you, Heather.
Bye,
everyone. Bye, everybody.